Hi everyone, Tom Slivick, and welcome to TSPN for today. And I have a special guest. This is Friday. We're taping on Friday. For some reason, Jack did a show on Friday too. And on Friday, we kind of take a lighter look at what's going on. And but we probably won't be that light. With me is Roberta Pickett. How you doing, Roberta?
Hey, Tom. Good to see you.
So some of the viewers probably know you from the show that you do here on TSPN, and that's Insights on Leadership and Life. How do you like the show?
Well, I love the show. I hope that the viewers watch it too and enjoy it. It's first Wednesday of every month from 6 to 7 p.m.
Okay.
And it's fun.
Okay, so, you know, Sue came to me one day and says, oh, we're going to do this great show. I met this really great lady. She's this really wonderful lady. Yeah, Sue, yeah. And she's going to do a show on leadership, things like that, motivation, how to change your life, how to find your joy in life, and do all these kind of things. And I go, I'm going to Sue. Yeah, okay, sounds good. Sue has a great way of seeing talent in people. She's just, you know, in fact, I don't think I've ever Sue's ever met a person that she hasn't seen some great talent in.
Well,
and so that's
a gift she has.
It certainly is, and she likes to bring that out. Yeah. I think you probably already had a lot of your skill set and developed before that. And we're going to come back and we're going to talk to Roberta and right after this break. So stay with us right here on TSPN. You're watching Amador County's local television network, TSPN. Hi everyone, and welcome back. Roberta?
Tom?
Okay, now you got this great book, Hot, Sweaty, and Happy. Okay?
The rest
Feels
of
a lot
it
like
is
today, but
lessons learned along the trail.
Okay.
If you don't say that, people get the wrong impression.
Okay, Hot, Sweaty, and Happy, these are lessons learned along the trail.
Yeah.
So along the trail in here, obviously that's a kind of a metaphor.
Both, yeah. It's a lot of the lessons I learned are stories about my backpacking and hiking and camping, that sort of thing. But clearly, they apply to life itself.
Okay, you know that's interesting because when you are out in nature like that, you do get a lot more insight into yourself.
Absolutely.
Okay,
yeah.
So Roberta, I was going to ask you a little bit. What? Just give us some of your background. Like I referred to, I said they already seem to have your skill sets pretty honed. You were a consultant to businesses?
Currently I'm a leadership trainer, a life coach. I obviously authored the book. So I do a lot of coaching and training as my work now, these last 15 years. Prior to that, I had a 25-year career with Sprint. I went in as an entry-level accounts payable clerk, and I came out as an executive, as a director. So over the years, I had many different management levels, a lot of different jobs, and just learned a lot along that path. And before that,
so you
did some other stuff.
Okay, so your accounting is that, and then that's. Are you a linear thinker?
I'm a little bit of both.
Okay.
Yeah, it's interesting, like the Myers-Briggs, and you have a lot of those different assessments you can take. I tend to be right on the line in terms of judgmental versus, sorry, my brain just went. But so I can be linear, and I also can fly around a little bit and find my way back.
Sounds like a good place to be.
Especially when you're out
in the middle of a path. Or, you know, to be able to utilize both sides of
the brain.
Right. Okay, so everyone says, like, gee, that's a great show you're doing, Tom. That's a great show. I Sue, TSPN. And where'd you get that lady anyway? I mean, you know, she just seemed to come on in there. She's really good at what she does and everything. How did that happen? And how did that happen?
Oh, because of Sue. She's just an amazing woman. Actually, I put on a workshop here in Jackson called Deploy the Leader Within. Okay. And it was a 6-week program that I put together, and Sue was one of the participants. And so that was my first time that I'd met her.
That's right. I remember that. She'd come home every day. I think it was like a 5-day workshop or something?
Well, it was once a week.
Okay.
For 6 weeks. And so, and in between time, there were things that they could work on, things to explore. But I really got attached to Sue. She's just a wonderful woman. And so afterwards she said, one of these days we should do a TV show. And yeah, I'd never done TV or anything
I thought of
like
that as well, because quite frankly, sometimes you wonder where people learn, how to change, how to become a better person. A lot of people would say, I'd like to be able to do this, but I don't know how. I wish I could do that, but I'm not good at it, or all these kind of things. And it seemed to me, when you look back at it, a lot of guys get that stuff from like coaches at school. Oh, believe in yourself. You gotta, do all this stuff. And a lot of that, I wrote down this big word, deferred gratification. And that's like what a lot of coach kind of thing is like. No, you're not gonna feel good until maybe 3 weeks from now.
Well, yeah, that's like hot, sweaty, and happy. You can be in the middle of something, be like, why am I doing this? I'm miserable, right? I'm hurt. I'm hurting. I'm tired. I'm sweaty. And yet there's what you're going for. It's that goal that you're reaching for, or the top of the mountain, whatever it is. It's what you're striving for. That's what keeps you going. And when you get there, it's like, yes, it's all worth it. And I think that has a huge impact. Instead of just getting that instant gratification, be willing to put yourself out there for what gives you joy or satisfaction.
I think a lot of people feel that if you don't learn a deferred gratification pattern, you probably aren't going to go too far in life, because you'll just be, looking for that instant Scooby snack,
Yeah, good point.
Instead of, gosh, it's going to take me how many years to get through college and do all that, and whoa, before that I have to sit and do all my homework, but when you define it as like seeing that, going on the path, and there's a part where along the path, gosh, I didn't know I could do that. And isn't that, and so you get these swell little feelings, and that helps if you put them in your little pocket and stuff, and then it'll go a little bit farther down, and keeps you on that path.
Yeah, little milestones. You achieve milestones along the way, and I think that's true.
It's so far to walk. Oh no,
a mile? Oh my gosh! No, it's not.
I know, it's not.
It's not. And, that old saying from Lao Tzu, who was a Chinese philosopher, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And that's the point, right? You have a goal. You may not even actually end up at where you thought you were going, but if you start working towards it, it's amazing where you end up. You look back at your life and you go, whoa, how did I do that?
Right.
Step at a time.
And, go into that thing a little bit, that's saying, the journey starts with the first step. That's like, I'm becoming a graduate. I'm becoming this. And it's the act of becoming. It's, it's suddenly that.
The affirmation. You're affirming yourself at the beginning of your journey that you can be that. You can become that. You can achieve whatever it is that dream you've set out for yourself.
Okay. This is where maybe I, see things a little bit different. Like you say, well, the right side, left side, or this or that. I sometimes feel that thing that you're trying to achieve, or there's a still small, let me put it like this, there's a still small voice in you that says, that's what you are. This is what you should be. This is that. Like we know what we ought to do, but it's hard to do that.
It takes discipline. One of my chapters in there is discipline is not a four-letter word. Because, we think about, I got to be disciplined, you think of discipline as punishment, right? But discipline comes from the word disciple, following something, about it's being committed and following something. So you're committed to yourself to follow through.
Yeah.
And, let's say you want to run a marathon. Well, you can't just go out tomorrow and run a marathon if you haven't been disciplined to prepare yourself along the way. It doesn't mean you can't do it, but you may not be able to do it tomorrow.
All right, can you see I'm just begging to jump in here? When you were as being in the service, going through like basic training and stuff like that, discipline really didn't mean, it meant that you were stealing yourself, or you were engaged in an art to be able to handle things. And, you know, you could take more. So when, like, you would say you would make that mile, or you're going like, I can't, you know, man, we already ran like 5 miles, so I can't keep going. My feet will fall off. I mean, and that's going in your head. And then, you know, you wind up going farther than that, and you go back and go, man, I had no idea it was that, you know, I was that strong.
Yeah,
I had no idea I could do that.
It's an incredible feeling. You know, it's sort of a self-righteous feeling in a way, but that sounds negative. You know, sounds bad, but it's like, woohoo, I did it, because you didn't fully believe in yourself at the start. You know, you wanted to, you thought maybe you could, but someone believed in you enough to keep pushing you even farther.
You know, Ayn Rand makes a point in one of her books, it's probably Fountainhead, and if not, it was in Atlas Shrugs, that truly the only person that can really have a good sense of a good feeling about oneself is when you've accomplished something was really hard to do, or, you know, that's people that can celebrate. They're having a celebration in their life right then. There's and it's just
elevated.
It's an awareness.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's an awareness of, like, confidence, and the confidence, of course, to me means you have grace.
And I think so many people are not aware of what they are capable of. They keep listening to that other little voice inside their head that says, oh, you can't do that, or who do you think you are, you're not good enough, or, you know, you didn't grow up on the right side of the tracks. Whatever their message is to themselves, that holds so many of us back. I mean, I think all of us have that voice at some time during our day or our life, but it depends on how much you pay attention to it. It doesn't mean you have to, I don't think you can get rid of that voice 100%, but you don't have to pay attention to it. You don't have to follow its path. You can say, I hear you, and there's another part of me that I truly believe in.
You just have an expression for that, too, because that's the doubt that you have. That's a doubt that you're going off, and you can say to others, say, hey, this is what I'm planning on doing, and they go, hey,
no way.
And, oh, boy.
Yeah.
And here's a mountain of doubt there, and they go, you just kind of watch that doubt, look at it, and it goes away.
Well, and it's also important to...
You get another thought, in other words.
Well, that's true. But I think also if you hang around those people who are always doubting you, you may tend to be more likely to not believe in yourself as well. I think it's really important to say, if I'm hanging around people who are always negative, maybe I need to hang around some different people.
I was going to say, that's a good thing. Yeah, I think we're going to have to take a break.
Okay.
And so we'll be back with Roberta Pickett, author of Hot, Sweaty, and Happy, Lessons Learned Along the Trail, right after this break. You're watching Amador County's local television network, TSPN. Hi, everyone, and welcome back. Tom Slivick with Roberta Pickett. Roberta, why is it that people need a coach to help alter their behavior?
I think that everyone at some point in our life needs some support. Now, I'm not saying everybody needs a coach, but I think that the idea of having a coach is a facilitator to achieve your dreams. If you think about, you mentioned earlier, I think it was about sports coaches.
Okay.
It doesn't mean you weren't good to begin with, but the coach makes you even better. The coach helps you see maybe where you're doing some things that you didn't even know you were doing yourself.
You know where the coaches and the TIs are really good, like your drill instructor? It's giving you the basics, teaching you how to walk.
Well,
you know, your feet have to work right. When I had coached track, you know, like it starts right there. Or so, you know, you get that. And what's the drill? Go back and do the basics.
And I love that because people, when they probably first hear that, they go, you're going to teach me how to walk? I already know how to walk, right? I mean, that's their response. And so a coach can help you see things in yourself that you may not, patterns of behavior or physical patterns, you know, whatever it is, to keep you on a path that will make you more likely to achieve what you're trying to do.
So see, when you say, like, coach can show you that, or so you can see it, and you asked me earlier, like, how did you get into TV? And I said, well, I started doing sports video, and I used that to show the kids, say, see, you think you can walk? Look, don't you look at this other person walk. Look at you walk. Is that, just look at it.
You show the difference.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you don't get the feedback. So a coach can help you get the feedback, and also when you get a little discouraged,
boost, champion you. One of the things with life coaching that I think is a little different than sports coaching is we tend to, instead of give you the answers, our goal is to help ask the questions that will help you find the answers. Because I can tell you what to do, but that would be from my perspective. It may not be exactly right for you. And also, if I tell you what to do, you can go,
yeah, you won't like it.
But if you come up with, this is what I need to do, there's much more power in that.
Nobody likes to be told what to do.
No, of course we don't. No, we don't.
People don't like to be told things. They like to be shown things.
Shown things or consulted. What do you think you should do, Tom? What's working on? What's worked so far? What hasn't worked? What can you learn from that? What might you do next steps? So asking the right questions really helps you to start
those kind of,
thinking.
where you just said things like that to a person like me, that sounds like manipulative speech. As soon as I started to hear that, what do you think about, what do you think you could do about this? But when you had said, what perked me up and everything was like, say, if you could teach a person or get a person to ask questions, and ask questions to themselves all the time.
Yeah.
They're
asking their own questions, right?
That's the good thing.
Because I do think life is a journey, going back to my book. I think it's a journey, and we're here to learn. And if we don't think about what's happened to us or how we've ended up in a situation, what got us there, what were the decisions we made that put us in this circumstance, what do I need to take from that? Did I make the right decisions, or did I avoid the wrong decisions? Or
if you stop and think that we all wind up in circumstance to start off with, we had no control over it whatsoever, so we find ourselves in some place, and with the pressures of our peers, friends, families, country. And here we are, and then maybe there's some day when you wake up and go like, well, wait a minute, am I responsible for me, or how do I get out of this?
Well, I think that's
another thing. How do I become what I want to be? That's what Susie says. So let me get it on that. Let's change the mood, because it sounds to work. Susie said, why she's so cool? She's like, joy. She likes joy, and that's my middle name, Tom. And so I just took to her right away. It was joy. Let's find what? Did you have a chapter in here or something called Find Your Joy or something, maybe?
Find Your Joy, yeah. Because the key thing is life has its moments, right? Ups and downs, goods and bads. We don't get to be maybe in joy 100% of the time. But I think all of us have things that bring us joy, or whether it's a sensation, it's an activity, it's a purpose. There's different things that bring us joy. So if we can identify that, people don't even necessarily know what brings them joy, but if they can identify that first and then find a way to make room for that thing or things or whatever it is in their life, it doesn't even have to be daily. For example, sometimes backpacking I only get to do once a year. But I plan for that, and I think about it. That one time a year that I know I'm going to be backpacking, I better be ready for it. And afterwards, I think back to where we went and the fun time we had and the goofy things that we talked about it over, our campfire or whatever. All of those things add to the joy, because it's the reliving it and the anticipation of it in the future as well that is part of the joy that comes to your life.
A lot of people feel, this is one thing I learned, Roberta, if you do the right thing where you're at, as we talked a little bit about things like, if you do the task that's in front of you, and you just do the task, that would give you a lot of joy. A person that might not sound right,
but sounds very zen.
But it does. Well, it is. I have a favorite line where a person, he talks and he meets this guru thing or something, and he says, so I talked to him, and he said, okay, go pound rice. Now go over there and go pound rice. So I did that for 6 months. The guy didn't say it like, it was a bad thing. So I'm like, that's what I was supposed to do. I did it. And so that doesn't mean like you don't get an idea that says, I might find something better, or I find a calling for this, but while you're doing that and you're putting all of yourself into that, and then something else comes, and you take a little divergence from what might have looked like your path, but that wasn't your path. This other thing is your path. And so you're open to that, and also you have the skills of just working on what needs to be done.
Yeah, and I think I'll give the example of my 25-year in the corporate world, right?
Okay.
So I learned a lot of things during that time, and I loved parts of it. I hated parts of it, but I loved it, and I learned along the way, and at the end, I was laid off. So, okay, like a lot of other people around the country, and I had to look back and say, well, what do I take from that, and what do I take with me and go forward? Is it, was it all just wasted time? Of course not.
No.
All those experiences, all that learning, all that time in relationships, and I gained so much. So it was a huge gift. And even though, yes, I got laid off, but, the reality is I think it was the right time, because then I was able to move on to something and find a whole nother realm for myself to express. So.
The great Rich Hoffman once said,
Ooh, I love Rich.
a door closes, a door opens.
That's right. That's
So,
right.
There we are.
There we are.
But all
And
the
here we
skills, all the skills that you have, all of the experiences you have, are something that you probably picked up for the next room.
Well, yeah, and I really think that, we can learn something from everything. We are not in control of our lives. Sometimes we like to think we are, but we are not in control or total control of our lives. But I do believe that we can always be in command. And I like to say that. I learned it from a guy named Bern Moses, who's out of Sacramento. Interesting guy.
I would prefer saying we don't have to react to someone else or something else. We get to call
We can
the shot
respond.
of
Yes.
how we respond.
Exactly, and that's what the idea of being in command is. If you
Right.
think about
You're
a
in-
commander in a ship,
Exactly.
maybe he's in the middle
You're
of a
well
big
disciplined.
storm.
You're just
Yeah.
standing there.
He may go down with the ship, but he can still be in command even to the point of his death.
At the end of your life, the only thing you take with you is your character.
Amen. I love it.
Can we leave on that?
We can.
'Cause I think we ran over.
Uh-oh.
Okay, tune in to TSPN's show, Insights on Leadership and Life, and that's where she runs the show. It's probably a lot better show. Okay,
Oh,
so
stop it.
I was glad to be able to talk with you.
Thank you,
And
Tom.
thank you for watching, and we'll see you again next time on TSPN.
Okay.
You're watching Amador County's local television network, TSPN.